What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. On the left side here, we have Mimighoul, going up against Tearlaments, Horus on the right side here. We have seen the die roll with Tear end up winning the die roll here, so they are going to be able to choose who's going to go first. Obviously, going to choose to go first here in this deck. You know, we see it all about milling. We're going to be diving right on in with the first action looking like a King Sark in the hand there that we're going to be placing on the field. It looks like we also have the Merly in the hand. We're going to activate the King Sark, sending a copy of Polymerization here to be able to dump in Himsteady or the Happy. We're going to see the Himsteady being dumped there, and then we're going to be allowing it to bring itself back out. We're then going to activate the effect of the King Sark, once again dumping another copy of a spell in the hand to let us summon out, or send the Happy. Happy will then be able to summon itself out, and now we're going to be able to overlay up into a Zombie Vampire to start kind of those milling from the deck, and to see what our opponent's going to be on. We're going to be seeing a Zombie Vampire going to be activated there, and we do hit a Medora for a shuffle, as well as the Trap card and a Card Destruction. Then we're going to take a second to read the Kashtira card there, hoping that maybe we could search for something, but we are going to be seeing the Medora being summoned out. Dragon does not need to be summoned, but we are going to be able to see the Kashtira and the Mimighoul cards kind of be revealed there, which is kind of important. Especially having a dragon in the graveyard is going to be huge for the player. Then we're able to search for the Tier Cache with the trap there. It would be pretty cool if we did play like one Kashtira cards, we could have summoned out the copy of it, but we unfortunately didn't. We are going to be seeing then the Rhino Heart going to be activated, normal summoning it out, and then dumping from the deck a copy of the Havness. Havness will be able to activate the effect in the graveyard, but we do chain a Bestial Magnemite on this while that copy of Medora is on the field, which is going to be removing that Havness from play completely here. Going to be kind of hard to get that back unless we have a Crime in the main deck, I believe. Well, that's going to be pretty huge, especially because the Magnemite will be able to search for another dragon during end phase, being a copy of Druid's Rim. And we do see like Magnemite Druid's Rims being kind of popular in the main deck as well. I know Malice is playing it, and then other stuff too. Ryziel has it as well if you're playing the Fiendsmith Ryziel Bestial deck. That does hurt a bunch of other stuff as well. It also is an out to detonator, so a lot of other rogue decks are playing it as like, you know, one Magnemite, two Lubellion, stuff like that. We are going to be seeing a planet can activate, or a terraforming, searching for the planet there. But we're going to be seeing a Thrust, of course, resolve first, searching for that terraforming. And then we're going to be activating the planet, searching for a copy of the Shiren. Shiren will then activate the effect, sending the other known card in the hand being the Tier Cache. And now we're going to be milling cards, and the tiered hand is going to be completely gone. We're going to be seeing them hit a Tier Cache to mill two more additional cards, and I believe they were able to add a trap back to the hand by milling a spell, but I'm not exactly sure how they're going to go for this. Now, we could overlay up into a Redoer, but the problem being is that if we leave that Redoer and to send the Shiren, they're going to have the additional Bestial to kind of get rid of it, and we can't afford to lose multiple of our tier names here in rotation. I do want to apologize for the glare of the tier player's graveyard. Lighting at locals is not always the best, and unfortunately we can't kind of control that. We're going to be seeing the Scream that hit the graveyard, letting us search for the Trap card here, but we're then going to be able to summon out the Rhino Heart, and we overlay up for a Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark's going to activate the effects, but we do have a Mourner for this, going to be essentially stopping that Totally Awesome from hitting the field altogether. We're then going to go for the Medora, overlaying with the Shiren for a Redoer here, and we are going to be seeing the Bahamut activates effects just so they can get the Rhino Heart in the graveyard. Yeah, I mean, we've used two hand traps here, but we're going to be able to search for another one, so that's going to be kind of fine at this point. And they do have the Druid's Rim in the graveyard, but Magnemite can actually add it back from the graveyard as well here. So, kind of important to note. But we're going to be down to 4 cards. I mean, we are thinning our deck if we search for another dragon. And what's cool about Magnemite is that we can actually search for Mimighoul Dragon as well. So, kind of being a starter in itself. Putting itself on the board, being an interruption, and then being able to search for a starter. Very nice card altogether. We're going to go up into an SP, which can then banish the Druid's Worm. So not being able to add that Druid's Worm back to the hand. Do they have a third Bestial in the deck is the question. We are going to be seeing the Mimighoul Dragon being searched in union phase with the Magnemite. Not adding it back to the hand is very interesting as well. It is deck thinning, and you kind of don't want to have duplicates. So we are going to be seeing the unit standby phase. The Slime, Mimighoul Slime being attached to the Redoer there. Not looking like that's the card we want, but getting a Slime out of the deck can be quite nice, especially if we're only playing 1 to 2 of it. Because, removing it, and that card itself in the Mimighoul deck can be kind of crazy. It gives them a body as well as summons out another body, which can act for the effect if you summon out a dragon, which, in this case we already have, but still being able to give them additional body, essentially, and free XYZ by just placing onto the field. I kind of want to remove that at all costs a lot of time as well. For a free discard or a free attach is perfectly fine. Better than a random one like Maker or Room. Maker would allow you to kind of get that spell draw, but still, we do see the dragon search for the Maker. I don't want to put the Maker or Room in the graveyard. Those cards are kind of just way too busted in the graveyard as well, so that's kind of a problem for me. But we're going to be seeing the Maker going to be activated now, and that's going to be perfectly fine here. We're going to be revealing a slime alongside we're thinking on it there. Yes, we want to hit the slime here, and we're probably going to do an Archfiend or a dragon. Okay. Interesting choice, unless we have the Archfiend in the hand, but we're going to try to hit. So we unfortunately hit the slime there, which is going to be very rough. So we're going to be giving it, and we have the Archfiend in the hand, which is why we search for another one there. Archfiend's going to be flipping up that slime, which is then going to activate the effect, giving us another body. And let's kind of see the power of slime here. And then it gives itself back. And so now we kind of have that free XYZ. We get that effect off, and it's just 0 punishment. And they get the dragon search. They have the dragon during the next turn as well, which is pretty crazy. So we're going to be able to overlay up now into the throne. Throne can then activate the effect, summoning out the Mimighoul Master from the deck. And then we're going to search for an additional card. So we are getting lots of searches here, and the Master kind of being a semi-boss monster in itself. He's supposed to be the boss monster of the deck, but with him itself and Throne on the field, it's going to be pretty important. We're going to be SPing the Throne now, banishing it, and then that's going to make the Master come out. And now we can't activate the Throne effect. It's going to come back next turn, but it's going to be a little bit harder. I feel like we probably should have saved it to SP on the Master, but again, if we don't know what the deck does, it's going to be quite difficult to kind of play through it. We're going to see the armor being searched off the Master there, and then we are going to overlay these most likely for the Giant Mimighoul. Now this card is everything and everything. It is a extender, it is a time card, it is a search card. It is exactly what the deck needed. This card is honestly insane. So we're going to take a second to read it, which is going to be what the heck. And then we do take a second to read Master as well, the boss monster, air quotes, of the deck, the Master himself. Now we are most likely going to be seeing the room being searched, off the Giant Mimighoul, which is going to be what a card lets us play during our opponent's turn by booking, mooning something, and special summoning out a Mimighoul from the deck. And when you have that in the not Nightmare Throne, getting Ubel in itself, the Throne card confused. When you have the field spell up, Dungeon, Room becomes quite scary, I guess. When the Room is the dungeon, it is pretty terrifying. Terrifying, I should say. We're going to see the Fairy summoning itself out, because you do control Mimighoul monster here. And then we're going to go up into an Assembled Nightingale. Now, this is going to be able to attack directly, but I'm not exactly sure why we're doing this. There's really no advantage of it here, because we don't want to Zeus this field. We're going to poke for 800 here. Now, I wonder what we're waiting for the Redoer to kind of go for. Then we're going to attack with the Magma into the Redoer. They're going to chain the Redoer effect. And then we're going to be able to activate the Shiren, which can use itself in the Zombie Vampire for a Muddy Mud Dragon. Honestly, we're going to be seeing the planet destroy the Giant Mimighoul, and then we're going to be seeing the Magma redeclare an attack on the Muddy Dragon, and then we're going to be seeing the Master attack, and we are going to be now activating Talents here to draw 2 more additional cards. We have the advantage now. I actually don't hate going up into a Downard and a Zeus here, but we're just going to go right up into a Zeus, and Zeusing the field means that so we're going to activate 3 Mimighouls, giving it to our opponent there, and we're going to pass turn. SP is going to come back alongside the Throne, but as I say, I don't really hate this, because we're going to be sending the Kingsark, but That's fine as well. We also have the redo, which is going to be attaching during a standby phase, and we're going to hit a spell card here, which is going to be allowing us to get additional draw. A very nice hit, honestly, for the tier player here. But we're now going to activate the effect, and we do get a draw here off that redoer. Just a free extender, or a free draw, I should say. You know, not hating, nothing extending here. But we're going to be kind of forced into a weird line, because we have an entire field. We're going to activate Medora, trying to shuffle back one of the tier cards, which is going to allow the field spell to then pop something. So that's going to be kind of important. You probably want to shuffle back a Maker as well, but yeah, okay, so we are going to shuffle back that Maker there because we want to be able to remove an interruption, and we want to be able to pop a card, and we're most likely going to try popping. I'm going to be assuming the Zeus. And we let that resolve here. Okay, that's crazy. I feel like we should have just Zeused earlier, so we removed the entire field and then just gave them all the Mimighoul stuff. But that is just me. We should have gone downward Zeus, and then we had like one more Zeus on in case things go wrong. And like if we're moving Kingstark on the field, as well as like Pleasure Planet or Planet at this point, the planet's putting a lot of pressure by being able to pop like stuff. Like we knew they had the Medora shuffling back, so it would have been kind of problematic. But I suppose at the same time they could have chained the shuffler at the time to pop the Zeus anyways, but it would be on the new chain. So like if you would have made the format Zeus, or even just going for the downer, we could have seen that being shuffled and then popping. So maybe going for the Zeus is correct in this case. But we're gonna go Throne effect on the Master, and then Master will be able to bounce 2 cards here. And we are going to think on this, because SP can banish. But we're then going to see Archfiend flip face up, and why are we not bouncing cards? So we're going to see Archfiend flip face up, giving us a card, and then being able to then dump a card from their hand, and they do dump. And that's going to give them an additional draw because they hit a copy of a Shadal monster, which can dump the copy of the Beast of the Graver, which gives us another draw. So kind of nice when you do a draw into the Shadal monster, we get that kind of effect. And we are going to be seeing Room going to be activated there. I'm just wondering why we didn't see the Master bounce anything. Oh, because it had no materials to it, right? They tried to get rid of it there, okay. But we changed it so we kept it there. And they do ask to read Throne, or read the Room. We do let them see it. And then we shuffle our back row so they still don't know exactly what the card is set. And we know we had set it there, so it doesn't really matter. I completely understand why we're doing that. And they're not in like an imperm column, so it's not going to matter that much. We're going to see Fairy Flume flip face up. Now it's going to be returning to our opponent's side of the field. And now we're going to be summoning out a copy of the Study. And we could potentially see the Happy being summoned as well. We could go for another Zombie Vampire because we did put it back with the other tier monster here. But we're going to see Master now try to flip something face down because the monster was special summoned. Which is going to prevent them from getting access to that XYZ. I'm not exactly sure how Tier kind of gets out of this one, honestly. I don't know what the cards in hand is. I do see a Scream. So we do chain SP to this, obviously, which is going to remove something off the field. We see a little bit of adjustment of the camera. So we're actually going to do the Horus, both of the Horus monsters here. And then we do flip a Room up, which is going to be able to summon a... We can't even summon a dragon to their side of the field, which is unfortunate. So we have to kind of summon... They do check their graveyard, okay. Yeah, we have to summon an Archfiend to our side of the field, and then we get to book one. And we're going to book the Happy. That's interesting. Imstay is still going to be banished there. We're going to flip up the dragon, which is now going to destroy everything. And it does go to the graveyard because they cannot be able to put it onto the opponent's side of the field. Very important to note that's how that does work. Yeah, so the Imsteady does not banish stuff because it has to banish both monsters. That is something that's really important to note, that we did catch that there, which is really good. But we're going to be seeing the Tearlaments player just scoop it up there, realizing the game's going to be lost. So I'm going to end up taking the control strategy in game one by filling up that board, making the Horus monster to come back at weird spots, and then having that dragon destroy everything during their turn is pretty crazy. I mean, Mimighoul is always just a really slick deck. I like how the deck operates, honestly. I think that it's just like cool how it's like very, very roguish and like very low ceiling, but at the same time it can just like control the board every single turn. Like, you know, the dungeon being able to add back to the hands from the graveyard is just kind of crazy. You know, you kind of always feel like you're stuck in this endless rotation of dungeon, which is obviously the kind of the point of it. I like when they do that, when they have like a play on words, like, you know, using the dungeon because you're stuck in the dungeon, which is pretty nice. And then Room, of course, being a crazy card, being able to just continuously like set cards and then banish to flip stuff back. You end up actually can return a bunch of Mimighouls to the hand at once, which is very nice as well in that build. You know, I think that Room can bounce as many Mimighouls as you want face up on your field, or just on your field, period. So if you just get like swarmed and then you have to do something with your Mimighoul monsters, you can actually just bounce them back to the hand and then just continue playing that way, which is really cool. What's also really nice about this deck is that you can play D-Shifter. So you actually might see in the game too that we're diving right into a D-Shifter being dropped, but we do not. Tier's going to be going first with a Shiren activating the effect, sending a copy of Squamata and dumping 3 additional cards. We see a Talents, a Horus monster, looks like Imsteady, as well as the Tier Field Spell. We're going to see Squamata dump that beast, getting us additional draw. And we do have the Kingstark in the hand, as well as a Trap and Thrust. So we're going to be having access to those Horus monsters, which can give us a Zombie Vampire. And now we are going to be playing against nothing in the hand yet. So maybe trying to hit a hand trap, perhaps. Wanting to keep that Thrust in the hand here. But we also have Ash Blossom, so perhaps not. We're going to see the Kingstark going to be played, bringing out the Imsteady, and we're going to be activating the Kingstark, sending the Thrust. That's pretty ballsy, honestly, sending the Happy there. I mean, Ash is not going to be OTKing anything, so I mean, I would personally discard the Ash myself and keep the Thrust in case we do get hand trapped here. But we're going to go for a Zombie Vampire, which is going to be definitely a hand trap choke point here. Will we see a Veiler, Imperm, or perhaps a Mourner drop down? We do see the Mourner being dropped here, and we're going to get now forced to set one card and just pass turn on this. We're going to go straight to the battle phase, and we're going to get evenly matched, most likely keeping just the King Sarcophagus on the field. We are going to be seeing both the XYZ materials being placed in the graveyard, which can then be brought back out. But we're going to be seeing then in the main phase 2, a special note of a Unicorn, which is going to be applying a lot of pressure onto the field, being able to search for that birth, and kind of just forcing the extra deck going to be ripped apart very slowly. You know, Kaleido Heart is going to be most likely one of the first cards gone. If not, we're going to be seeing maybe the Draco Stapelia and stuff like that. Now, we do have Mimighoul Slime in the hand, which is not going to do too much for us unless we decide to activate it and give it to our opponent. But without the field spell, it's not going to be doing that too much either. If we play a copy of Anima, we can go up into an SP, banish the Kingstark, kind of force him to top deck something here. So we are going to be seeing the normal summon of a Slime link up into the Anima. So we do have that SP banish here. And then we can play the Birth, bringing back out that Unicorn. And this is going to apply a lot of pressure here in this state. We're going to be seeing the Imsteady going to activate, so we draw into an Imsteady here. That's going to be absolutely crazy. Getting a draw as well as a King Sarcophagus. But we should be banishing the Imsteady here and the Happy off the Kingstark. So it's going to be pretty hard for us to kind of play through this. We're going to see the Kingstark going to be activated there, and then we just summon back out. And I don't want to say this is a misplay, but this is definitely a throw of the Kashtira. I mean, Mimighoul here. You definitely birth on the activation of the Kingstark, banishing all 3. I guess it doesn't matter. Only 2 of them. All 3 of them in the graveyard, essentially making them top decked once again on that one card that they end up drawing. We're going to see a battle phase dealing some damage here, so you also lose your SP. But I mean, if you don't know Birth's effect, it definitely is going to be a misplay. I actually kind of miss playing with the Kashtira cards. They have a lot of cool interaction points. But we are going to be thinking here. I mean, they're still in a decent position. You know, having 2 cards in the hand, one of them being a Veiler, and then, of course, the Birth being able to bring back out that unicorn turn after turn. But we're going to be now overlaying or XYZing up into a dark, and then take, and we're going to be trying to maybe make an SP of our own, or we're going to take their SP. Yeah, so we're now go up into an SP of our own, I'm going to assume, which is then going to banish the birth. We do have a Veiler for that, essentially saying, yeah, we're going to get our unicorn back onto the field here. We're going to pass turn on that. That's kind of crazy. We're going to see birth, then bring out the unicorn, and then we have an evenly matched in the hand as well there, so we can't even activate the unicorn effect. Don't play Theosis, which makes, I don't know. I think you would definitely play Theosis in this deck. We're then going to be going attack into the SP, and then we're going to go into the main phase 2 with Magnemite, and then we're going to be banishing the Imsteady there. We've seen the Magnemite effect is going to activate in the end phase, searching for a Mimighoul Dragon, which is going to be the continuous card that's going to let us now kind of play the game. We're going to be seeing the other Happy as well as the Imsteady being brought back out here. And like this would have been all over if we would have just been able to banish off that birth, but unfortunately we did not remember that at all here, which is kind of important. Definitely remember your birth effect, boys. It's very important that we do that. We're going to see a battle phase attack over once again, and then we're going to be activating the effect of the King Sark, sending it to the graveyard so we don't have to take any of the damage. Wondering how the Magnemite went to the graveyard, that's going to be exactly how. We're then going to normal summon out a Rhino Heart, activating the effects, allowing us now to dump any of the tier monsters. Now, this has to be done in the main phase 2 because we want to get rid of that unicorn prior to us getting to get hit at the extra deck there. And we're going to be using the dark as well as, so we're going to actually use the SP as well as the Havness here to make a Mud Dragon most likely. But putting back that SP is very nice. I always forget that you can use it for fusion material. We're going to go up now into a Bahamut Shark using 2 waters, of course, going now up into that Totally Awesome. So being now in a gate on the field, and then we can link up back into an SP, banishing that birth right away here. And we have numerous births kind of in rotation now. We're going to go up into a Spring, sprinkle them the copy of the Merly, and then Merly will be able to activate the effect, allowing them to fusion summon into Kaleido Heart. And the game is going to be back in the Tearlaments player's hands here. Actually, we can make a Winda. Yeah, okay. So we're making a Winda here using the Havness as well as, or the Merly as well as the Beast here. But we have the evenly matched, but we can just negate it with Totally Awesome here. Essentially going to be allowing us to add back another card to our hand. And then we're going to main phase 2 for a Thrust. And this is not going to find a way to kind of beat the board, though. I'm going to go for a Talents, but they haven't activated any monster effects during the main phase this turn just yet. And I think at this point they realize they kind of have misplayed. They're going to normal summon the dragon, activate the effect, allowing us now to search for the field spell. Maybe we should get Maker instead. Okay, so they're going to go Maker here. Then we're going to activate the Maker, which is going to give them a dragon alongside a copy of Cerberus, but we can't actually summon from the hand here. I see dragon being summoned, but it definitely was not the card we were looking for. We're looking to try to get the... We had a 50-50 chance here, so it is worth the risk, I should suppose, but we're not going to get that Cerberus effect to flip up that copy of dragon, then making them blow up their entire field alongside getting a Talents effect. It would have been nice. It was a 50% chance of it happening, but the game is officially kind of over for Mimighoul. The wind on the field is just going to be too much. We're going to be seeing them link or tribute summon actually for a tier cast, which can then activate the effect, allowing them to mill 3 cards. And doing this is going to be making it so that the Archfiend actually doesn't get flip face up to activate its effect, it just gets tribute summoning off, and then we still get to mill those 3 cards there, which is pretty nice. We're going to be seeing a Trap hit the graveyard, which can allow us to now search for tier cast, which can then activate the effect. We also have a Tribute Karma, which can search for a Scream. So we're going to be milling cards off of the Scream here as well. and then place a scream, and now the game is going to be essentially kind of over. We're going to be seeing the Unsteady summon itself out, and then milling 3 cards. And we're going to go battle phase, attack, dealing some damage, and the game is now in Tear's hand. We're going to see Mimighoul Maker activate once again here, trying to get that Dragon and Cerberus. And time gets called here, so we absolutely have to hit that Cerberus, or else the game's just going to be essentially over. I don't even know, even if we did, we don't. We end up hitting the Cerberus to give to them, and the game is now going to be officially over. With a tie here, we have no way of winning, and we're going to be seeing the tie being made there. I mean, Tear still is a pretty powerful deck, of course, being able to summon out those boss monsters like Winda and stuff like that, the Kaleido Heart as well. And even though we did not hit the triple copies of the Horus monsters, we still were able to put up a little bit of a board and try to make a comeback there. We definitely should have. With the birth, the game would have been over quite quickly here. We ended up taking game 1, and then unfortunately in game 2 just not being enough. Regardless, hope you're watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, have some more content like this. To stay safe, peace.